Oh, all right. Well, there's some of you. Here I am. Shalom. There's Grace Acres. There's Arkansas Living. Yeah, these are. I brought them in specially. Costs a lot of money to have those moved here. Good morning, Charles. Good morning, Hunter. Oh, nice. Out on your walk. Shalom, Sir Hoskins. Looks crisp. It is crisp this morning. What a beautiful place to sit and take in Yah's creation. Yep, that was the whole plan. That was the whole plan. When we bought this land, we just couldn't resist that. So this is not gonna be like an hour-long thing out in the rocks. This is gonna be shorty, but you guys are here, so that's awesome. I'm just trying it out. It's another technique when you have a channel. You know, you don't always have to have the scheduled live streams where you're sitting down drinking a thing of whatever. You can have them kind of spontaneous. You selected perfect rocks. They look so natural. Well, thank you. We had to spray paint the moss on them and, do some dark areas so it gave it 3-dimension. That is my plan, is to survive and help others. Perfect plan. Love your plan. You are now part of a stronger America. As I said in another video, the Happy Prepper News video, is that the more of us who are out here trying to be more self-sufficient, independent, producing things that we can give to others, bless others with, etc., America becomes a stronger nation in general. And I think we've got a really interesting example in the Canadian truckers who are driving to their nation's capital, or maybe it's their region's capital, Ottawa. Sorry, Canadians, if I don't know geography. I'm not a real great geographer. For taking a stand in their country. They don't like the mask mandates, and I'm not saying Americans never protested it. We sure did. And lots of people said no and quit their jobs. But we're a little bit more immune, whatever, to people complaining. That whole riot situation during the 2020 pandemic kind of made it where nothing happened with them. There's the flock coming to join. Nothing happened to those people. I mean, they arrested a few, but billions of dollars of damage was done, and we never hear about on the news what the repercussions of that were. Do y'all mind? I am trying to do a live stream here. Hey. All right, I'm gonna have to move. These knuckleheads are too noisy. Hey, come along with me. Take a little walk in the woods. Just make sure you've got your good shoes on, because this area is a little bit unclean. Let's see if I can get me another position. They are my flock, though, so there's a reason they're kind of following me around. All right, let's see if I can perch on this log. This might work for me. There we go. We are sort of, what do you call it? Like, our country's been messing up so bad for a year. People are getting tired of complaining and not having anything done, and so I think it's harder to get us motivated. Although there are people waking up and speaking out and so on. But the point of my video was not just, can you survive? Got you live, dipping off grid, makes communication a bit sketchy. Well, Ottawa's Canada's capital, and we're Parliament and the President. Okay, thank you very much for letting me know that. It was to say, can we survive life under China? That's the real premise of this video, because let me see if I can do the sun a little bit, not so, you have to look at the duck house back there, but there's worse things to look at than that. If we go to war with Russia, as I pointed out in the Metaverse live stream? Might have been the one before that. China takes power, right? China now becomes the only superpower sitting back, not involved in a war, not having all their money and material and everything go to a war. And now they're really number one. They're at the top. Well, if the war with Russia goes badly and our country is materially damaged, there's a chance China might decide to try to invade or just take over in a political sense and say, hey, you need help, let us send aid and blah, blah, blah. And with that aid comes some rules. Hey, shalom, bad wabbit. Mark, you're right about that. Truckers are independent minded. But let's just say China somehow comes to power in America in whatever way, and that economic blackmailing, whatever, kind of like what we do to other countries. We're not going to send you our cereal unless you do what we say about your ports. Can we survive under that? Because here's the reality of a Chinese government. Communist government. Let's not forget. They may be dabbling in economic stuff, but they are still communist. Communism everywhere else has failed miserably. Millions of people have died under communism. Millions. Like just in Russia alone, 50 to 100 million in World War II. That's not the Hitler killing them all off. That was Stalin killing his own people during his time in power. Mao Zedong killed at least 5 million Chinese when he took over with stupid policies. Like everyone had to burn their own woks. They had to take all their main pot that they cooked food in and burn it, melt it down for some reason. I don't remember what. Maybe he wanted to make plows out of them. But now people have nothing to cook in, and so like 5 million Chinese starve. Castro, Cuba, horrible economy, just miserable. You talk to anyone who lived in Cuba, they're flocking to Florida. Khmer Rouge too, exactly. Shalom, Gray Mouse, yes. Venezuela. I mean, just any communist socialist country, their economy stinks. And they don't care about people. At least under China and Russia, communism had no religion. Religion is where you get the basis of life is valuable, life has worth, we should revere life and take care of people and do unto others and all those things. Communists don't think that. Communists think we are a big wheel that's grinding along and you need to be feed, whatever, in that wheel. We need to plug you into the wheel and you need to do your part in that wheel. And so under communism, you're a little petite girl with some athleticism. I don't care that you want to be a physics professor. You're going to be a gymnast. And we're going to take you when you're about 3 years old away from your family to a government installation. And we're just going to train you to be a gymnast until you're 12. And then we're going to send you on competitions around the world. And oh, by the way, you're going to do some spying for us. Or you're going to have the coach above you is going to control everything about you. And we're going to give you steroids because we hate those darn Americans and their kids are really athletic. And so in order for us to make up for the fact that our food and everything is not as good, we're going to give you a bunch of male hormones and send you off to international competitions. Just read some books about Russia. Read the Gulag Archipelago. Isn't that the name of it? It's been such a long time. It was terrible. It was terrible. They had prisoner of war camps for people who didn't want to be communists, and it's basically like being a Jew during the Holocaust. Your state imprisons you and just lets you starve to death up there in Siberia because your politics are wrong. I spent 10 years living and working in post-Soviet Eastern Balkans, and it was a mess after the Soviet Union broke up. Communism has never and will never work. Exactly right. Real world examples, y'all. So if China takes over and we're under communism, we are now fodder in their big machine. They're going to do things like tell us, well, you have too much whatever. You got this dog here. It's a really nice dog. We need that dog and take our dog and do whatever they want with him. Now he's guarding the premier's house, or he's gone to some Politburo chief kid, because that kid liked it. Now, the Communist Party members always get the better stuff in communism. So, hey, that goat herd you have, no, that needs to go to the state. We're just going to turn that over to some state organization down there in North Carolina, even though you live somewhere else, or they're going to California. And it doesn't matter that you paid for them, watched over them, took care of their medicine, fed them, gave them shelter, checked on them every single day. None of that matters. We're just going to give those goats to somebody else because, well, the state needs it. And that's communism. Like, there's no, sorry, I put this thing down in the leaves and then it starts to fall over. This is real world struggles of trying to do these daggone videos. There we go. Oh, you have 3 cars? Well, the Chinese state says you can only have half a car. So you're going to give 2 of them to the state, and you and your neighbor are now going to share that car. And if one of you lets that car break down, we're going to fine you guys, and your daughters are going to have to go work in a pharmacy or something because you didn't take care of that state property. So it's too bad for you. Oh, and your grandma now has to knit booties for the army. Like, you have a 0 choice under communism. And the economics never works, because when you get someone who was a businessman, like a stockbroker, who's a hard-charging intellectual person, and you tell them, sorry, the state needs you to be a farmer. We're going to have you farming potatoes. You're going to be driving a tractor all day in all kinds of weather, and you got to plant these potatoes successively all through the year, and then you got to go dig them up out of the ground there. Stockbroker, he's not real motivated. He doesn't really get excited about that job, and so he doesn't do a good job. And that state-sponsored tractor that they gave him, he doesn't know how to fix it. So when it breaks down, nothing's happening until they send a state-sponsored mechanic who was a marine biologist out there with a manual and some tools to fix that tractor. So it's just bad. Life under communism would be horrible. All the freedoms you enjoy now, you would not have. There's a good chance you would be starved and imprisoned. If you weren't, everything you owned would be taken away from you, and you would be given less than subsistence level food and shelter for you to try to get by on. If you're a young person and you don't know this about communism, just put into Google Russian bread lines and see. Because while over here in America, we have places like Walmarts and A&Ps and 7-Elevens, and they've got 15 kinds of bread and 30 kinds of cereals for you to choose from every single day. Over in Russia, during part of their communist regimes, people had to stand in line for bread. One loaf. Your family gets 1 loaf, and you could spend 8 hours in a line, 4 hours in a line for 1 loaf of bread. Don't make your own. No, you can't do that. You can't buy flour, take it home to your apartment, and make your own bread. You got to get it from the state. So go wait in line. Can you believe these things? Can you believe? Crazy. I do like the fact that the ducks get out in the woods because they're very at home here. And when we domesticate animals, we've kind of taught them not to be what they are naturally. And I like to get them back into natural surroundings so they kind of revert back to some of their more hardy survival type behavior. Because ducks, they like to go out and forage by themselves, and they've always got somebody on guard. When these guys are, excuse me, when these guys are flocking up, when they're running around like this and they're doing this thing with their beaks and searching around under the leaves and stuff for food, there's always somebody on guard duty. And then when he goes to eat, someone else is on guard duty. And they communicate with each other. They tell each other when something changes, hey, or where food is. Interesting. Ducks and their natural behavior. Humans under communism. Interesting. Anyway, that is something for you guys to start to think about right there is, can I survive, and how would I survive under a government different from the one I have now? What am I going to do about it? And you can start doing things now. Like I said in another video, go ahead and, write letters to the editor, letters to your congressmen and senators, social media thumbs up, Twitter things that say, I don't want to be, at war with Russia. There's ways for us to protest now, and now is the time to do the protesting. And I know the vote here may be nullified, may not really be counted correctly, etc. But you got to try. You got to try. Because I don't think I could live with myself if I didn't do something. If I thought this stuff was happening and I just sat around. So don't lose hope. And think about, comrade, what you would do. You'd have to speak Chinese too, by the way. And like I said, this won't be a real long live stream. We're going on 20 minutes. But you'd have to speak Chinese. You would not be able to use English. We could be beaten and imprisoned for using our native tongue. And that's not a slam against Native Americans, Navajos, and Senecas, and Iroquois, and everyone. You guys keep your native tongue. You may get over better than we are, because the Chinese aren't going to be able to understand what you're saying, and they'll be able to understand what we're saying, and we're not going to understand what they're saying. So you could start learning Chinese. Pastor's talked about doing that himself, at least a few phrases to get by. And you'd have to give up your religion. They persecute Christians in China. They imprison them. They beat them. They fine them. They make them disappear. You'd have to do that. And you're not going to be guaranteed the kind of education you're getting now either. You would be educated as the state deemed you should be educated. So if you thought, oh yeah, I'm going to get that doctorate, I want to write that doctoral thesis on medieval newspapers and what was written in them and what they were made out of, because that's your interest. No, you're not going to be able to do that under the communists. You could go tell them you want to do it, and they'd say, oh, you're smart, you want to study, we're going to make you a nuclear physicist. Yeah, I don't care that you have no interest and you're probably not great at science. You're going, buddy, and you better do your job or your family's going to suffer for it. You know that nice big apartment we gave you when we first hired you? Well, if you don't perform, we're going to downgrade the apartment, and then we're going to downgrade the apartment until now there's 3 families living in one apartment instead of you getting one big apartment. They'll do that. Oh, yeah, they will. Yeah. So that's my video for this morning. I've got to round them up, get them back in their pen, liberate this guy because he wants to go out and, sniff things and mark his territory and whatever. And this lady's got to get back to doing her morning chores. Thanks for swinging by, y'all. Can you survive? Can you survive under a Chinese regime? Think about it. All right. Thanks for dropping by. I will say shalom. Now we have little, and Russia has lots. I see more and more commercial on TV introducing Chinese ways and glorifying them. Yeah, we're getting fed the information. Ronnie from the firehouse in Kentucky. Hey, Ronnie. Shalom. Good to see ya. Oh, Charlie Ski, thank you. A Neo Pioneer, too. Oh, thank you so much. There's a couple of little things. I just started that stuff with the channel partnership. So there's a couple little things up already for Neo Pioneers. And you have to give me a little leeway. I just started it. And being an artist, I get spouts of inspiration and then spouts of dryness. So I thank you very much for joining the channel. You have somewhere on your little control thing 3 emojis. There's an emoji yellow button. If you push it and you type in something like fire or shalom, and there's one other, someone else knows what it is. I don't remember which one it is. Special little emojis that I uploaded come up on the screen. And you get a shout out. So you got a shout out. Where are you? Charlie Ski. Shout out. Okay, and there's some shaloming, and there's Mrs. Hermit Hill in Kentucky. Ronnie from the firehouse just said hello. Mrs. Pleasant, you have to be a member. You have to join the channel, not subscribe. It's kind of like Patreon, but it's not Patreon. Oh, thank you, Charlie. Nice. Yeah, see, you now have a little badge by your name too. When you join, you get a little badge. And I guess they upgrade the longer you're a member. I do have like 4 or 5 little badges on there. So when you're there, like for 3 months, it'll be something different. Yeah, no worries, Mrs. Pleasance. It's not required. You are welcome to come here at any time. It's just one of the benefits of being a thing, and it's a YouTube. They told me to do it, and so I did it. Good morning, everyone. Northern Ozark Homestead. You're going to have to go back to the beginning after this turns into a video to get the content because I'm about to sign off. But you can certainly comment after. It just won't be live. So anyway, I am signing off. Bless you all. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Shalom. Hey, Greek Homestead. Oh my gosh, you guys keep showing up now. I feel guilty for getting off. Greek Homestead. It's a short live. I'm not staying on. You came on just as I'm getting ready to leave. But I do appreciate you coming. I think it's amazing that you sign in. I hope everything is going well for you. After I sign off, this live stream will turn into a video. It'll be in the video thing, and if you want to. The content was, can you survive under a Chinese regime? Really? You're welcome, Patty. And so if you want to look at what I said and comments and everyone and everything, just go back to the beginning and watch it. And then you don't have to, you can get offline and the content is still there. And you can comment. Of course you can comment. And I love seeing y'all's comments. Yeah, we're all fine here. Everyone's fine here. I'll give you one more shot of these guys because here they are again. They just want to know what's going on. Bless y'all. Shalom. All right, where is the button? Where's the button? There it is. You have a blessed day too, y'all. There it is right there. Come on. Okay.